Just get right into it.
Yeah, cheers.
Let's start off with cheers.
Cheers.
Amen. Episode 4, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we are.
Here we are. That's good rum. How's that beer?
It's great, man. It's good to switch it up this week, I guess.
That's good.
Shout out Jed. Thank you very much.
Shout out. Is that great or good?
I don't know what it is. It tastes like a double IPA.
Nice.
So
Very cool.
I enjoy it, but in any case, here we are.
Here we are, episode 4, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into the Amici podcast. I'm your co-host, Mark.
And I'm your other co-host, Giancarlo Maglita, and we're going to get rolling once again.
Once again, and this is weird too. Are we saying the full names or are we doing just the first names?
I don't give a shit.
All right, well, in case you want my full name, I'm Mark Aiello, and that's...
And I'm Giancarlo
Maglita.
Margarita.
Johnny Mags.
I could get a margarita next week. But, yeah, man, it's good to be back here for second round. Fourth round. Jeez, I'm losing my marbles today. But how's your week going? Good?
Week's going pretty good. I mean, I was sick earlier this week. I had some kind of cold.
Mm-hmm.
I think, so I went to first, about a week ago now, I went to see my cousins. They had their kids and their friends' kids were all there. They're all running around coughing. And so I must have picked up whatever they got. And then that combined with Saturday, I went to the NPC bodybuilding show in Boston. Well, it was technically in Lynn. And it was, for those of you that don't know bodybuilding shows, they are a long-ass fucking day. I mean, you get there, prejudging, you get your seats around 10. Prejudging starts at like 11. And the whole event goes until like 8 o'clock at night. So you're there. It's a long day, and I'm just sitting the whole day. And I think so. Anyway, I think it was a great day. By the way, it was a great day. It was great to see some familiar faces competing. It was really inspirational. But I think being exposed to germs earlier that week, combined with just sitting all day and being really exhausted, I think set me up to get pretty sick earlier this week. So I had like a little mild cold that I had to work kind of through. I'm still a little bit stuffy.
Kids got the plague.
I got the plague, man. I don't have Rona because I did test for that. Because we got to go to a show tomorrow. You need either a Vax card or negative COVID test. So I have a negative COVID test. So it wasn't Rona. It was just mild cold,
Yep.
Just changing of the seasons, had colds. But I was able to do some work. I edited the last episode we did while I was sick, which is why it came up a little bit late. But other than that, doing well. Just keeping editing one of my big projects, and
good, man.
Yeah, just trying to take it day by day, but work hard. Make sure each day is 100%. Yeah.
Happy to hear, man.
Yeah, man. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. Just like you, I'm super busy. Really don't have a lot of time to stop and think about it. But the new single for Verona is getting finished up this week as we speak. Our producer is finishing everything up, doing a really nice job. So we're really excited to get that released and into people's hands,
That's awesome, man.
And
that's great.
We started pre-production for this one literally October of 2020. So we've been doing this EP for just over a year.
Wow.
And I'm so psyched to release it, and I hope people are psyched to listen to it too.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. I'm just you send me tracks, scratch vocals or whatnot, rough mixes, and every time I get really excited. I feel like I'm getting like little teasers here and there. So it's really exciting. I'm really excited to see the progress that you've been coming along. I think technically and creatively and professionally and personally, I think you're improving every single day. And
thanks, man.
I can certainly see this represented by just the Verona tracks, let alone the work you've been doing there. And it's been a long time coming, but I can tell you've been putting it in all your heart and soul, you and your brother. So
absolutely.
And your producer as well, Matt. Shout out.
Shout out Matt Alexander.
Yep, and Rich, right?
Rich on the bass, Rich Domings and Matt Alexander, both awesome guys. They were such a pleasure to work with. And hopefully we can do it again at the new studio that they're actually building in Cambridge, the new Q Division.
That's great, man.
So we're psyched to get back in there for another record.
That's awesome.
No, they've both been a pleasure to work with. And I remember you were actually there filming sort of that very first session, and we had such a great time, and looking forward to doing it with them again. They're excellent guys.
Yeah, totally, bro. That's awesome. Yeah, so we were going to have our first guest of the show on tonight, but he once again canceled on us. So,
damn it! Sorry, I think I just destroyed people's eardrums.
It's okay. No, I mean, but I think this gave us a good opportunity to just have one of our deep conversations like we usually do. And we were kind of thinking tonight we would talk about practice. It was something that's been in my head a bit this week, just because I'm thinking, like, I really got to start practicing a lot more. And first of all, what do we mean by practice? We mean, so I imagine most of you listening are probably, you've got some creative, some craft of some sort, whether it's film or music or, some sort of creative business endeavor, something where you've got your actual work that you're getting money for, but then there's a more, I guess you could say, just creative, more artistic side of it, where you need to work on your skills outside of your actual job, outside of your work.
Right.
So for me, for instance, it's practicing, taking my camera out and messing around with different settings of my camera or lenses, and maybe trying out different lighting techniques. And for you probably just want to just practice playing guitar, just trying different licks, jamming, seeing chords, with how they go. And it's evident that this is vital for any creator's progress in their work as a professional and to constantly improve themselves. So we wanted to talk about that today. I thought that would be a great discussion.
Definitely. What do you what's your regimen? Or I don't know if that's the right wording, but what do you kind of do to get into the zone for that? And then what do you do, most importantly?
Well, I get out as much as I can to just at least fool around with the camera whenever I can. And this is actually the reason why I wanted to talk about this today, is because I haven't been able to really practice lately, because I've just, my entire life with my camera has just been work, actual client work that I'm getting paid for. And certainly you can improve your skills because you are putting in as Malcolm Gladwell puts it, the 10,000 hours in to your work in order for you to be exceptional at it. You are putting those hours in while you're doing your actual work. Kind of like last week we were talking about, it's like, oh, well, we don't necessarily want to be doing weddings or corporate events, but they are, in a way, we are improving our skills. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I mean, so yeah, I've just been working just a lot recently and never really giving myself the spare time to actually go out and just, for lack of a better term, play,
Yeah.
Just play.
Yep.
It still is work in a sense. I mean, it's not immediate work as far as, getting paid. You're doing it. Clearly there's ends to be met there. There's money or some sort of compensation that you'll be getting for doing this. That's not what you're doing when you're practicing. You are, like I said, you're playing around. You are doing it for the sake of the craft.
Right.
And like I said, that is vital. It's just what you need to do in order to improve yourself. So you asked my regimen. I mean, I don't have a regimen for it. I mean, I think it would be ideal if I got to just go out and play with my camera. Like
we're doing Saturday night.
Yeah, I hit him up and I was like, dude, why don't we just go out in the city Saturday night? It's going to be a nice night. And I just want to practice, man. I just want to play around. And in a way, I mean, I want to use it for something, because I can't just, I can't just shoot something just for the sake of shooting it and never seeing it again. That's just not how I operate. I feel like if I do that, I feel bad at myself.
Yeah.
But maybe you can give me some insight, because I think it's different with music. Like, for instance, if you and your brother, if you're just doing a tasty jam in the basement, it's likely that that lick you came up with, that riff, that beat, you may want to use it for one of your songs, but you may also not. You may not remember it, right?
Yeah, you're 100% right. And to add to what you were saying before, you know, I'm sort of the same way where it's like, oh, I'm not going to, going into it, it's like, oh, I don't want to just come up with something for the sake of it, just falling by the wayside, per se. But yeah, like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like, you know, not every song is going to be a banger. You know what I mean? Just like not every film is going to be a banger either. But
Yeah.
you know, we just sort of channel the muse, and we just have a lot of fun with it. You know, the best thing to do is to literally just see how you're feeling at the moment, and just channel whatever emotion you're feeling at the moment, and then just roll with it that way, you know? We're going to switch the camera here real quick.
Okay. I dread that I had to do that, but that angle was bothering me. I was just looking
That's
at
all
it.
right.
It
Yeah.
still is. Yeah. This is how I am when I shoot, so. Yeah.
This is Mark in the flesh.
Yeah. That's me.
But no, man, it's really, you know, we just get into a room, we write. We don't really think about it too much. Like, it'll all start with a riff. I always write based off of a riff or a chorus or a melody or an idea, and we just sort of build a song structure around that.
Yeah.
And I don't just, in terms of practice, I don't really have a regimen myself. I hate just sitting down and being like, okay, I'm going to practice a bunch of like scales. Like, I hate doing that.
Yeah.
What I love doing is throwing a backing track on, like from YouTube, and just rolling with that. Yeah. Or just putting on one of my favorite records and playing along to that, you know? So similar to you, I really don't have like a regimen myself. I just kind of, you know, I'm in one of three environments. I'm either playing live, I'm in the studio, or I'm just jamming at home.
Well, I think that's the beautiful thing about practice is it's not supposed to really have a regimen, I don't think.
Right.
I mean, like I said, it's supposed to be, I think practice is, it's play. It's playtime. It's free flow. It's freestyle, you know, for lack of a better term. It's, you know, I don't think you need to have, you have your regimens for when you do your actual projects, the actual things you're doing for your money. I think practice is just supposed to be, you know, there's no pressure whatsoever, but the bottom line is you got to do it to improve yourself.
Definitely.
I mean, it's actually amazing. Like, I was talking to an older filmmaker, a friend of mine, who's been doing his business for a long time now. We'll definitely have to get him on the show at some point. But he was saying, he's like, Mark, I'm amazed by how many filmmakers, I'm talking like highly professional filmmakers and videographers that don't practice.
Yeah.
He's like, Mark, they don't practice. Like,
is this is the guy in Atlanta? No.
Yeah, this is Thomas.
Yeah,
shout out Thomas Brown.
Yep. He's a great guy.
He's awesome. He's tremendous. But that's, I think, but he attributes practice as like a big reason for why he's excelled so much and why he's leveled up in his skills and therefore in his business as a respected creator, is because he's always taking out his camera, you know, trying out different ideas for shots, you know, trying
it's
different
fun.
lenses. You have fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, there's a problem.
Yes. I was just going to say, the practice should never feel like it's a chore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when I get, you know, sit down with my Les Paul, it's never a chore, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I just love it so much, and it's fun to me, just like this is fun for you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. No, you got to have fun with it. I mean, I'm trying to think, I was going to add something to it. I mean, look, the way you improve, as I was kind of saying earlier, the way you improve in your craft and any whatever it is, like I said, you may have moments while you're in the midst of a work of an actual project where you say, like, or you think of different ideas and different, there's little, what would you call them, I guess, breakthroughs. That's what I'm looking for. For me, maybe it's I'm at a block creatively and I figure out some kind of way in my edit to work around work around that block and come up with some cool kind of transition, some effect, some sequence, whatever it may be, or a way I do a shot on a shoot. Yeah, just a simple movement in my camera or what have you that really adds flavor to it. And for you, maybe you're looking for, I don't know, something to really spice up the chorus, and you throw in some other duplicate track, what have you. But so anyway, those are certainly ways you can improve yourself and you learn new things, certainly by doing the work itself. But without the practice, though, you're not preparing yourself for those moments.
Right.
And I feel like without that practice, you're just not as prepared, and you're not as ready for when obstacles come, I think.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Definitely.
Of practice,
Right.
There's even I was listening to this book called Essentialism, and if I had the study, I don't like to just blur out random facts. If I had the information in front of me, I'd show it to you. But he says how the writer, he's talking about how play is essential in life in general. And he even says how, bear cubs, the ones that play the most were the ones that had the highest chance of survival.
Right.
Because they were just, when you see like a bear cub or a lion cub when they're playing, they're preparing themselves for fight, for rigor, and
they're going to school.
Yeah, in a way that's like, you imagine when you're a kid, when you're playing, that's kind of like what it is, whether it's, you're playing tag, you're kind of learning reflexes, I guess, and learning how to run, or if you're playing catch, with your father, what have you, you're learning how to be methodical, keep your eye on a target, These are all very practical and very important lessons to be learned in life, I think.
Yeah. No, hands down. I think with practice, you also have to be inspired, because there's nothing worse than feeling like you're doing something redundant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me, what I do, though, to keep things fresh, I was actually talking about this with someone tonight. Like, for me, I always need to be inspired by whatever I'm listening, and then apply that to my practice or, something I'm interested in. Like, for example, right now I'm actually really into this band called Catfish and the Bottlemen.
Never heard of them.
They're
Check
awesome.
them out.
They're from England. There's so many good bands from England, and they're not like the most technical band in the world, in terms of guitar playing, but dude, their sense of melody and writing is just off the wall. Like, they have such a great sense of melody, and I've just been so turned on by like really good melody and really good hooks lately. And that's sort of what I'm trying to implement into my own practice and playing, and then writing, and then, use that influence on a new song, on a new record.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. Yeah, I think this sort of goes into another topic, but, having influences and always keeping, I guess, well, this kind of goes into a different topic, which is research, I guess. I guess that would fall under the research category. Because aside from the work itself, the ways you improve yourself, there's practice, and there's also research, which is just being aware of, what's happening lately in, trends in your craft or your business that you're working in. That's definitely vital. And especially, I imagine this band is a newer band, right? That you're listening to.
They're around since like 2014, they've been around a few years, but they're definitely newer.
Still recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it's important, I think, to be always watching, what's going on lately. And that can honestly be the hardest part, because I'm just so tunnel vision and just my own brain and just trying to focus on myself and what I'm trying to do. And sometimes I lose sight of what's what other people are doing. And it's important you don't necessarily have to be influenced by what they're doing, but you at least need to be aware of it. Like, I could see it's like, they put out another, Marvel series on Netflix. I'm not into Marvel. I got fatigued from Marvel long ago.
Me too. Yeah. I'm a DC guy.
It's just, well, honestly, just all the whole comic book franchise movies in general. That's just my own opinion. Yep. I mean, they do very well at it. They do a very great job at it. Millions of people are entertained by it. Me personally, I'm done with it. So anyway, I mean, I could say that, but I think it's at least important for me to know what's going on, and look at it objectively. Be like, okay, why regardless of my feelings for it, and regardless how, if I think I just think it's like unoriginal, it's not cinema. I got to look at it and be like, okay, well, why is it doing so well? Why are people still buying this if they know it's the same exact freaking product that they've been getting spoon-fed by Marvel and Disney for the past 10 years?
Yeah.
So it's important to look at those things because it'll, for one, just general awareness of your field and what you're doing is, like I said, it's vital. You can't be, it's just, there's something about, I wish I could have a better explanation, but there's something about wouldn't you feel uneasy about a professional who isn't aware of what's going on in their field at that time?
Of course.
I don't know.
Are they in that field then?
Yeah. You think I just imagine I'm trying to think of a better example, but I don't know. Well, I'll just say in my own world, in filmmaking, I mean, would you want to hire a videographer that's using the same, nothing wrong with using, older gear, but using the same freaking gear that he's had for years and not being open to the different innovations of what all these great companies are coming out with and just being so sort of closed-minded to all those things. I mean,
see, I hate that. I can't stand staying stagnant.
Yeah.
I'll use this as a prime example. I love older stuff too. You know me. You and I are basically 60-year-old guys.
Yeah.
For
sure.
I listen to the Rolling Stones and drink black coffee.
Totally, totally.
What I'm saying though is I don't want to sit down and rehash something from 1974. Yeah. You know what I mean? I love Led Zeppelin and I love The Doors and I love Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith, but I'm not going to, we're in 2021 now, going on 2022. We're towards the end of the year. I'm also immersing myself.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cannot talk today. Damn it. With newer stuff too, because you have to, doesn't matter what your niche is per se in the field. You definitely have to know what's going on with it. At least how, we're, putting out music is done. We're in a totally different realm nowadays. With the world of Spotify and Apple Music, like I was saying before, you can't just get picked up by a label and the only platform is CDs or cassettes like it used to be. You constantly have to be adapting and be ready for anything. Remember when Napster was big?
Oh yeah.
No, who the hell still uses that?
Yeah.
But when I was listening to a podcast today with the guy who did the new Greta Van Fleet record, he was talking with the bass player Sam Kiska.
Yeah.
He was saying, you always got to be ready for the next thing. He was coming up in the early 90s when the whole Napster thing changed the game and all the studios were going out of business. And he was just well, I got to adapt here. I got to do something new. I can't just, trust the music industry for how it's been since, I don't know, the 50s, 60s probably.
Yeah.
A new era was ushered in, and he rolled with it and did a lot of freelancing, and he just made the new Greta Van Fleet record.
Yeah.
So,
no, and I think that's why, tying it back to practice, I think that's why it's so important, is because I think having that knowledge of what's going on in your realm, in your industry, in your craft, and then you combine that with constantly playing around with different elements and trying to improve yourself each and every time, that's where change happens.
Right.
And just by definition, I think just you need, in any creative field, you need change. I would argue you are not creative if you are not looking to create change. If you're not looking to, I use the word kind of in the definition, but it's true.
Right.
You know?
Like that guy in that video you were doing too. Like he said, you always want to be doing something different.
Yeah.
You never want to be replicating the same shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Totally, man.
And similar to, you're good. And similar to what he said, because I was just showing Giancarlo an edit of a video that I'm working on right now. It's really one of my big main projects. Excuse me. But he also says it's like, you know, if the moment you stop improving yourself in projects, well, hopefully it's because you died. You know,
right?
There's just no excuse for you. I just feel like in life in general, if you're not improving yourself as a human being, hopefully it's because
you're dead.
Yeah, because if I ever talk to somebody if I'm talking to somebody who says they've got no problems, I don't need to be improving myself, I'm fine the way I am, I got a big problem with you already.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's important to be happy with who you are, but at the same time, not really.
Yeah.
Because I think we as people are always changing. That's why I think ideologies and heavily identifying yourself with a particular thing is dangerous. Because if something happens, you know, like I said, things change. Life changes, man. And if something happens and you're still held on to old ideas and archaic kind of habits or like what have you, then you can get depressed or you'll fall behind. You won't be improving yourself.
Right.
And no, I mean, you can't, like I said, if you don't think you need to improve yourself, you're wrong. You always need to. I have flaws that I know I need to work on, and I have good people in my life they're always trying to push me and get me to realize those things and keep me in check, and which is vital. You need community, you need others, the support of others. Not to say that you can't do tremendous things on your own, but at the end of the day, look, we're social creatures. We depend on social interaction and support. It's part of our survival. So I feel like I'm kind of jumping around here, but it's important to realize that, look, if there's only one thing that's guaranteed on this earth, is that our existence is finite, you know? So why not try to better yourself, make the best version of yourself in that finite time that you have.
Bring something new to the table.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to say, it's like you said, nobody's perfect. We shouldn't strive toward perfection. And, you know, like the whole saying, you know, practice makes perfect. Well, I wouldn't say practice doesn't make perfect. I don't think anything makes perfection.
Makes it better.
Perfection is an illusion. It's never, yes, it makes it better. Perfection is an illusion. You know, I think you kind of said this earlier, you know, you're always going to be looking at projects or work that you've done like, oh, I could have done that better. And that's not a negative thing, though. That's like, people may think that that's kind of imprisoning. Like, it's like, no, it's perfect. It's like, no, it's freeing because it means that there's always more to do.
That's your area to improve, where you feel that, lack of confidence, I guess. You know, like when I listen back to a track, like I'm talking when it's done, like it's been mastered, it's ready to go. And of course we're always going to think, like, oh shit, I wish I did that better. I wish I put this extra hook in, or I maybe switched up the melody I wish I sort of implemented a different sonic texture or something. That is a great point that you have, that not all of that is done in vain, because it's your chance to do that thing that you were thinking to do on the next record.
Right.
And be like, okay, I want to do this. That's what keeps it interesting.
Totally.
If everything was perfect, dude, every time we did something, what would be the point of making the next film, the next record,
right,
the next big thing?
Right.
You know, if we had it all, and it's like, you know, and you get into that sort of boxed in mindset, you just sort of resign to the fact it's like, oh, well, you know, that's it. What am I going to do? I'm perfect. Like that's ridiculous. And
yeah,
hopefully none of you think like that.
I hope not.
You know,
I really hope not. I think people who think like that, they're either one, they're pretentious,
or they're delusional,
Yeah, well, I think a lot of pretentious people have delusion because anyone that is pretentious, if you've ever encountered, and I've encountered plenty, especially in my business, a lot of pretentious jerks that just think that their shit don't stink.
Yeah,
and those people are delusional to just think that.
Yeah,
it's like, who are you to think that you are better than me and that you don't have shit of your own to carry? Your cross to bears, you know?
Dude, I just thought of that guy like a few years back when you and I were in Newport. And Mark and I were walking through, we were near the Starbucks on the main drag.
I know where this is going.
And I guess the Newport Jazz Festival was in town. I love jazz, for the record. I listen to all kinds of music, not shitting on jazz or, you know, the kind of, you know, the whatever. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyhow, there's this guy that was there, and he was just playing his guitar. So naturally, I'm going to be curious. So I'm going to go and be like, oh, that's a really nice guitar. I think he was playing like a ES335 model or something like that. And I'm like, dude, that's really nice. What are you into? He's just like, oh, you know, I like jazz and jazz fusion. I'm like, oh, it's pretty cool. I'm like, I can get into that. I don't normally listen to it, but I listen to it once in a while, and I have a really good appreciation for it. That's awesome. What are you doing in town with that? He's like, oh, he's just not, this guy isn't even looking at me. He's like, oh, I'm playing the Newport Jazz Festival. I'm like, congratulations, man. That sounds great. And I'm like, yeah, I really like, I'm sort of listening to, I was trying to be conversational with this guy. Yeah. This guy just wasn't having it, just for whatever reason. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm sort of listening to everything right now. I love classic rock, but I'm also, you know, listening to Tupac right now. And I've really been on a reggae kick too. Do you know Sublime? And I like, you know, the band Sublime from the early 90s. I love Sublime. And I'm like, yeah, it's summertime. It's really nice. I'm listening to Sublime. And he's like, and I'm like, do you like them? And he's like, and he's just like playing his guitar. He's like, yeah, man, but I like good music too. And I'm like, and I'm just sitting there, and Mark was right there with my brother, and I'm just like, this guy's a fucking prick.
I remember him specifically what he looked like too. He was a little fat dude with a friggin' t-shirt. He was bald. He literally looked like Kyle Gass, like out of Tenacious D.
Dude, I love that movie, by the way. But again, I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but there are those people that exist that are just delusional.
Totally, yeah.
And just can't get out of their own way. And 9 times out of 10 really aren't great socially with people.
Oh, yeah, totally.
They don't put people at ease. They just tend to tick people off and just come off as a nuisance.
No, you encounter, especially in our both respective fields, you encounter people like that. I actually encountered somebody like that very recently who was just a complete prick to me the entire fucking time. And I'm like, well, it's like, why do you have to be such a fucking jerk?
I know who you're talking about.
Go figure. He was from New York City. And like,
yeah.
And look, if you guys are listening, you're from New York. Nothing against
New
Yorkers, but there is a culture in New York as well as in LA, maybe more so in LA and in Boston, maybe not so much as New York or LA, but it's just kind of like cutthroat, you know, everybody's tight-assed and, you know, I just don't know why people have to be like that. It's like, we're all in this together. We're all struggling here. We're all trying to better ourselves.
Right.
Like, why do you have to be such an ass? I think for the most part, when you gather a pool from all different backgrounds, I think most people are genuine, and they do realize that they have these parts of themselves that they need to correct and improve and, like I said, practice, you know, their skills and just, you know, coping skills, even if you want to get into a more personal route. But, yeah, there's there are those people that do exist. I think it's, like I said, I think it's not a big percentage.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Depending on where you're at, what circle you're going to. I mean, if you're going to like some freaking high-end, like freaking cocktail party in Manhattan, you're gonna find
Great Gatsby.
tons of those. Yeah, you're gonna find tons of those people. Literally, it's literally like something out of Great Gatsby. People wearing freaking those feather masks with like the freaking. They talk about how many yachts they've been on from like.
Dude,
So we're kind of derailing here off of the topic, but
that's what keeps it cool, man.
well, I think those kinds of people. Something tells me those, because they're so pretentious and they think their shit don't stink and they're so perfect, I think those are the people that don't practice as much in their craft, in their respective fields, because they don't feel a need to, and that's because they think they're already so great. They're self-aggrandizing. They're those, it's exactly the people that talk the talk and don't walk the walk. And those are, I think, the worst people, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. I think you and I always try to walk the walk and talk no talk at all. Mm-hmm. At the same time, though, I mean, it's important for me to kind of,
articulate,
but also have confidence and show that, demonstrate that to people. Mm-hmm. But I try to do it with as minimal words talking as possible. I like to, like I said, I like to just demonstrate and show.
Right.
I think you talk a great talk, but you also walk a great walk too. I think you do both.
I try to.
As long as you're walking the walk, that's more important. I watched this video, it was this channel on YouTube, Better Ideas. It's like, there's 4 kinds of people. You have those that talk the talk, don't walk the walk. Walk the walk, don't talk the talk. All talk, all walk. They talk the talk and walk the walk. And then there's those that neither talk the talk or walk the walk. Mm-hmm. Sorry, that's a lot of talk and walk.
A lot of math equations.
A lot of talk and walk. But the general idea is the best people are those that walk the walk and do not talk the talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love those types of people that just express what they have to express through their craft. Mm-hmm. They don't need to be like, I'm a big shot. I'm like, I'm the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
I love to live by what Frank Zappa said. And that is shut up and play your guitar.
I love that.
And it's not just for guitar. Like, I try to apply that to other aspects of my life. Like, just like Bill Belichick says, shut up and do your job.
Yeah.
Just do it. There's no need to gloat or, flaunt your ego at people.
Totally.
And think that you're so cool and be like, again, I don't think there are many of these people, but there definitely are some people that talk like that in different words.
Yeah.
Or either they demonstrate that by things they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're disrespectful to you.
They're disrespectful. They're always trying to be like, put you down and make you think like you're devalued and you don't have anything good to offer yourself. A lot of those people are super insecure and control freaks, but
I was going to say, I think all those people, they act like that because they're so insecure, or they're compensating for something, clearly. Mm-hmm. Whether they're compensating for the fact that they aren't as talented and skilled as they try to make themselves out to be, or they have personal shit that they're trying to work out, whatever it may be, there's always a reason like why people are jerks like that. But it's never coming from a good place.
Yeah.
In fact, I think like sorry to cut you off. I was just going to say, I think like the people that act like they have their shit together and they talk about how much their shit together is and how great they are, they're the most unorganized people you'll ever meet.
Oh yeah, dude. Dude, their lives are a mess. I don't know why this just popped into my head, but I just thought of it as like a great example. The other day this week when I told you that story about when I was at work, and this guy.
Can you tell this story?
I'll tell this story.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay. The cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, the cat's out of the bag. Why not? So I work in beverage distribution.
Yeah.
And I handle accounts throughout the area. And it's towards the end of the day. I'm at one of these accounts and I'm just dropping off some stuff for the guy for his store. And I'm like, here you go. Let me back up. When I got to the place was like dark. Like it was weird, dude. Like it was like not within their normal business hours. Like their normal business hours were 9 a.m. to like 9 p.m. And the place was just dark, locked. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? This has never happened before. And I knock on the door because I got the stuff that I have to drop off for the store. And this guy comes out and he's just like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't know that the place was closed. Does it have new hours? And he's just like, and I'm like, is the place closed? I'm like, what's going on here? And then he's just like, does it look like it's closed? And I'm like, yeah, obviously, but this is not normal. What's going on? And anyway, make a long story short, this guy was just being such a dick for whatever reason. And you're always going to meet these kinds of people, literally, at your job, within your own respective field. And I was just trying to be super nice and polite to the guy, and he was just not having it. And he was such a jerk. And it doesn't matter. Like, I literally probably shouldn't have, but I kind of...
What'd you say?
I kind of flipped out at him at the end. I was just like, you know what, man? I was done being like, I was just super cordial. And I get I was on the job, but I know anybody would have taken my side if, they heard this. And I basically told the guy to fuck off at the end of the day. And I was just like, yeah, man, fuck off. And I left. And in hindsight, probably shouldn't have done that because I was on the job, but whatever.
Hey, sometimes some things are necessary to be said.
Yeah. I mean, this guy was just being a downright jerk. Like, for no apparent reason. That's kind of what I was saying, what we were saying before. Some people are just tapped like that. They're just not, there's something within them. They're just not good seeds. And I know my boss or anybody would have taken my back on that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Friggin' jerks.
Yeah. But
I really just don't understand why we all can't get along.
In the perfect world, man.
Call me a freaking hippie, but I think, if everybody was civilized, if we all just, like we said I think on the last episode, or maybe it was the one before, I'm not sure. If we all just put up a big picture on our bedroom wall, Abraham Lincoln or Winston Churchill, somebody that we truly look up to, and we just think, what would he or she do in this situation? And we just had that mindset, of being articulate people and not, like our greater ape ancestors, and just want to like freaking fight and just, brawl. Like, why can't we just get along? I don't know. But anyway, tie this back into
need another drink?
I think I'm good.
I'm good too,
more or less.
Yeah.
That fly isn't here.
He's not here, dude.
The one that was freaking swarming around that big light above us. He's not here.
Yeah.
I think first frost came today or yesterday.
Killed him.
So
Larry's dead.
Yeah.
Larry.
Well, I mean, maybe it didn't kill him, but they're hibernating now.
I hope he's dead.
We got to make a T-shirt just says "I hope he's dead."
It'll show like the fly in a cartoon version. It'll say Larry is dead. X's in his eyes. We got to get some merch rolling with this later.
We got to get merch rolling for sure. We got to get our social media page up.
We do. We do. I said I was going to make it last week, and it's been nuts.
You didn't fall
and
through.
I didn't do it. I take full ownership for that. It's been crazy, man.
Well, dude, if you want, you just tell me. I'll create it. I'll delegate.
I'm not gonna do it at this moment.
Don't do it right now. Just look. If you want, I can work to do it. I mean, I'm the one that's editing the podcast and everything, and
I'm fine with whatever. I mean, it'll take 5 minutes to actually activate the thing, but
yeah, So tying this into back to practice. I mean, so you look at your skills, music obviously, but also you have sales skills. What are some instances, some moments in your life where you would say you had really good opportunities to practice and hone in these skills in your life? Can you think of any?
Yeah, well, sales-wise, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is that first sales gig I had, cutting my teeth that I always talk about,
pyramid scheme.
Yeah, more or less. If anybody is listening that I used to work with,
can you say the name of the company?
I'm not going to mention any names.
I would have loved it.
I'm not going to drop any names. I'm just not going to do it.
Do they exist anymore? This company?
I have no idea. But
hey, if they don't exist anymore, you could probably name drop.
I think
don't do it.
I'm not going to do it. I'm just we'll keep whatever.
Anyway, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. I mean, but no, in spite of how shitty that job was, I'm just going to say it is.
First of all, what were you doing? What was this?
I was selling renewable energy door to door in Boston and Greater Boston. I would knock on doors. I'd go to the office in the morning for 8 or between 8 and 9. I would get to the office, and then we'd have meetings, and then we'd have our plan of attack for the week, the week, go over numbers, how we were doing. I did pretty well in this gig, by the way. I did pretty damn well. I actually got to go to Nashville for a national convention for being a top performer.
Wow.
But anyhow, and then we'd hit the field, and then I would knock on doors and sell people renewable energy contracts. They said it wasn't, a contract or whatever, but
it's a contract.
It's a contract.
Trying to sell friggin' solar panels to some guy at a Mattapan with a cigarette in his mouth on his porch. It
wasn't solar panels. It was more. I could literally get into this for you, how everything's supplied for gas and electric and everything. But
yeah.
Anyway, I'm totally derailing here. The point I'm trying to make, though, is that, sure, as ridiculous as that job was, it was the best experience. It taught me the art of negotiation. Mm-hmm. Trust me, you'll be able to negotiate after you talk with a guy in Mattapan with a lit cigarette in his mouth and 2 of his bulldogs and a gun on his chest, by the way. That literally happened to me. This guy walks out with it literally looked like a MAC-10 on the side of his hip. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how I didn't get shot or something. I thought I was gonna die. I literally thought I was gonna die. This guy comes out. I'm in a rough part of town, and he's got 2 bulldogs and maybe who knows? I thought he had. I heard more dogs in the background, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, hey. And anyhow, what I'm trying to say, though, is that
you got a baptism by fire.
I got a baptism by fire.
Yeah.
And I learned negotiation with that. I learned how to deal with all walks of life. In business and entrepreneurship, you're going to deal with all kinds of people.
Yeah.
You're going to deal... They taught us in this job the 10-80-10 rule. 10% of the people are going to get along with you regardless of if you tell them to go screw themselves. You could say anything to them. They'll still buy from you. 80% of the people can be, you can sell them. You just got to break into them a little bit more, sort of, facilitate that conversation. That's going to be most of your clientele. And then 10% of people are just lost causes. You're just not going to, these are the people who aren't going to buy from you.
Sure.
There's always going to be those people that are just not into, you could do the best job possible. They still won't be convinced. You don't want to deal with those people. You want to deal with the other 90%.
Totally. Yeah.
But that's just another example of something I learned. And I know I just totally derailed everything.
No, it's important that you share that story because I think that and just even that one occurrence with that freaking sketchy dude in Mattapan, like, or just with
I
that
will never
alone
forget that.
taught you is, you learned a lot in that. You learned, sure, this 10-80-10 rule, but what comes with that, you learn how to deal with people. You learn how to read people, more importantly. You learn how, what to say, and you vibe off people. You learn to listen, be a better listener. That's a huge skill that even I've been trying to work better on, is listening to people, like truly listening to people. I think there's people that say that they listen to people, but they're not really listening. I have to single out my mom on this, but she'll say that she's a great listener, and I'll be talking to her. I just can tell she's not listening. I'm like, Mom, you're not listening to me.
You can tell when somebody's listening or not.
You can just tell. Yeah. And they'll be like, oh, I'm listening. And I'm like, what did I just say?
I'll do the same thing with people in my family.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's totally true.
Yeah. So I kind of just derailed there, but that's an important skill.
Totally get it.
You probably also learn too how to be, I don't want to say, maybe assertive, but you probably learned how to, I guess, more or less,
overcome objections.
Yeah, and not be too, what's the word?
A yes man.
A yes man, submissive.
Yeah. You learn how to hold your own.
Yeah.
You learn how to, if somebody's going to just try to shoot you down quick, you're like, no, I'm going to counter that.
Yeah.
I'm going to offer something in response to that. But this is the other thing too. Something crazy in entrepreneurship that's a crazy good skill to have. And I'm getting good at this, but it's always something to be working on, is present something as if you're doing them a favor.
Yeah.
When they're actually doing you the favor.
Yeah.
That's an awesome rule to have. That's like an awesome skill to have.
Yeah.
That's another thing I learned.
I think that's a valuable skill. Well, even my mentor, he's told me what got him ahead in business. One of the biggest things that got him ahead in business was never coming from a place of scarcity and making yourself out to look desperate.
Right.
Even if you are desperate, always having this sort of vibe, this attitude of confidence in yourself and, I guess along those lines, doing them a favor. And as if there's, trying to think of a better way to put it. Like, you're not desperate. You're not needing anything from them. You're just, here's what I'm offering you. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah.
And you kind of let them, you make it seem like the ball is in their court, I guess, by doing that.
Yeah.
Because people love to, it's a universal thing, I think, with people. They love to feel like they're in power. Even, I think last week, too, I was also talking about the book I was just reading by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Mm-hmm. And one of the big important takeaways in that is, look, one of the main underlying things about people, about what they want, aside from, the fact that they want food, they want water, they want pleasures, they want to...
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, all those basic things, but the main thing is they want to feel a sense of importance. Mm-hmm. And I think both what we're talking about here ties into that. Mm-hmm. So
people love talking about themselves.
They do. That's exactly what he says in this book.
Yeah.
People love to talk about themselves, for sure.
People also love to hear their own name.
They do.
You know what I mean?
Dude, that's another thing he says in that book. I'm surprised you haven't read it.
This is just something I've picked up, like, just going through experiences. Like, I noticed I've closed a deal, or, when I was doing that job, I would get more sales. And just in general, you get what you want a little bit more when you, from time to time, will just even mention somebody's name. Like, oh, and Brad, people subconsciously, it's like, wow, this guy thinks I'm important.
Yeah. He remembered my name.
I know his name. He knows my name.
It's true, though. I get that feeling if people call me by my name.
Dude, it's human nature. And that's just something I picked up. Again, we're not experts on this show. This is just all based off of our experience.
But it's valid experience, and I think you giving that advice it's valid, and you don't need to give people that preamble about I'm not an expert, but you have experience in that, you have expertise, so you are allowed to share that with people. I think
totally,
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. There's that's it. Dude, we went off on this one.
I think it's all good though. I mean, I hope people can take away the big underlying topic out of this. We kind of went on.
This is the double IPA and the rum talk. And
we went on a tangent talking about jerks.
Yeah, but there's something to be said about all this shit.
What is it?
It's I need another beer. It's I need another beer. Damn it. But what is it?
I was hoping you were gonna say I have no fucking idea. I would have been dying laughing.
Forget everything we just said. We're just here to sound like idiots.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're just being fun. We're not. That's one glass of rum. I'm not even buzzed.
Dude, you're stewed right now.
I'm fine.
I'm just playing.
I find it so funny that we do a show about. You'd think this is a show about professionalism, being professional, conducting yourself professionally, and about think entrepreneurship. Like we're being professionally, we're talking proper. We're just shooting the shit and just we're
drinking alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's kind of, dude. I like this though.
Yeah,
this is. I don't know. I like being laid back about.
That's what I wanted out of this show, is to have a laid back sort of vibe, and we're talking about things that matter, things that we're serious about, and that mean a lot to us. But we're at the same time we're just having fun. We're just two goons, best friends here that we share the same values, and we just want to talk about those. We want to do it in an unfiltered and an
unbiased and raw.
That's an inside joke of ours. I could share that with you later.
Yeah, we'll get to people like that.
You want to talk about practice? I can tell you about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of the funny thing is, not to cut you off there, but the funny thing is, while I was doing that ridiculous job,
yes,
you were going through that.
Yes.
This other thing, Mark was going through his own sort of BS with. This gig he had too.
Just as how you won't say the name of that company, we won't say the name of this individual.
Exactly. And it's sort of nuts how, again, I want to establish this. It is so ridiculous how similar Mark and I are, because I'll be going through something and I'll call him up and he'll be like, dude, what's going on? I'll be like, oh, this happened to me, or something good happened to me, or something bad happened to me. It's oddly scary.
Yeah.
How similar things are happening to us almost simultaneously.
It's astrological that we are on the same page.
Yeah. It's nuts, dude. And I don't believe in any of the horoscope shit, but it's just sort of funny to point out.
Is.
Like you and I, it's ridiculous. You'll be going through something, I'll be going through something very similar.
Yeah.
Totally. With a lot of things.
A lot of things. So with that said, Giancarlo was trying to sell energy in Mattapan to a guy with a cigarette in his mouth and his boxers with his bulldogs and bull mastiffs out trying to chase his Italian ass out of town.
Get off my lawn, man!
While that's happening, this is before I really take off in my business, where I had sort of one foot in the freelancing lifestyle and another in fall in line / I don't know what the fuck's going on / I don't even know who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
Life was a mess. We'll put it that way. I don't want to say a mess, but it was a mess. I found myself basically creating content for one of those pretentious people like we were talking about, people that thought his shit don't stink, someone who thought he had this delusion, like you said, of grandeur, that he had this an extraordinary skill and power of wisdom and rhetoric to offer to the world about business. He thought, no joke, he thought he was Grant Cardone. He thought he was Gary Vee. He thought he was
Ty Lopez.
Ty Lopez, yeah. And that's what he was trying to be. And I was sort of creating video content for this guy to help him, this brand, whatever the fuck it was.
I still didn't know what the fuck that guy was selling. We went up for drinks.
I didn't know either.
Dude, we went up for drinks. I met this guy, okay? He was a nice guy to me, okay? Yeah. So I'm not going to say anything ridiculous like in terms of that, but I can talk for the shit he put you through afterwards. Like, I will talk about this. Like, you and I went for drinks with this guy, and this guy wanted even me to work for him.
That's why, we called you there, because you were thinking of maybe you were trying to leave that job, actually, that you were talking, and you were going to do sales for him. And you basically asked him, like, so what am I selling here?
What am I selling?
And he gave you like a 10X speech, like as if he was Grant Cardone. And
telling you.
He was saying, it's like, we're going to make $1 million. We're going to be sharing this wisdom with the world, unbiased and raw. And
we'll be swarming with
with money.
Money. We love SpongeBob.
Yeah.
But no, this guy, you took the words out of my mouth. We were like 4 drinks deep, and finally I'm like, okay, well, hey man, what are we selling? And he's just like, oh, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we kind of want to do this. And I'm like, and I just was staring at this guy sipping my Jameson and ginger ale for like 20 fucking minutes. And he was done. And he's just like, so what do you think? And I'm like, yeah, man, that sounds really cool. But on the inside, I'm like, there's no shot in hell I'm going to work for you, dude.
I don't know why I stuck out for him for so long. I think it was just...
But you had to learn.
You have to learn.
That's what it is. We learned from these experiences.
That's how you learn. I think, honestly, I mean, it's amazing because in all of that, he was still paying me consistently, money to just...
Yeah.
But, like, look, I mean, the thing is, in retrospect, I was being taken advantage of. I'm talking like he would keep me for like 12 hours a day, and I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing. It wasn't even really quality of work either. Like we talked about before, like the hustle culture. He was one of those like people. And it's like, once again, these pretentious scumbags that think that they, if he listens to this, I don't know, but whatever, I don't care. But, these pretentious scumbags that they think that like they really believe that they're perfect and that they there's not really much to improve about themselves. They're committed to improving the lives of others. It's like, you haven't done shit in your life. You haven't done shit.
Ideas are shit. Just execute.
He doesn't even have freaking shit to execute.
What's the idea?
You don't have shit to execute.
You don't.
No. I mean, that's it. I mean, I could go on and on about this guy. I mean, but just if I'm rambling, I apologize. But to sum it up, this guy was a bullshit artist who thought he was going to be the next big self-help guru that wanted to offer financial knowledge that he didn't even know what he was talking about. He didn't have credentials to showcase. But I was creating video content for this guy.
But you learned from him.
I learned from him. And even though it wasn't necessarily practice in my craft, as what was kind of the original topic we were talking about, it's practice in a sense, like, I learned from people, and I really learned from that how to read people. And like, it's very easy for me to sort out who's bullshitting me and who's in it for real.
That's an excellent skill.
I can tell it immediately, just like that.
You and I are the same.
I could just tell, and I can see the moment I meet you. I'm not the best at reading people. I'm getting better, though. I practice, as I meet more and more people. I'm trying to get better at this. And I'll meet someone, I'll be like, there's something wrong about this person, but I'm not too sure. You got to figure this out.
Yep.
But so I'm still working through that. But because of that experience, because I had to deal with that freaking clown for months, I've gotten really good at that. I can see, like, what are your insecurities? I can see what your insecurities are. I can see what you're good at. I can see what you think you're good at, what you're not really good at.
Yep.
All these things. But it's an important skill for doing any kind of business because you need to be highly selective when you're running a business.
100%.
When you're doing anything. You need to be selective about your time. You need to be selective about what you choose to work on and who you choose to work on what with. Mm-hmm. And, the context of what you're working on, what's implemented, everything. You need to be highly selective. you can't say yes to every opportunity.
100%.
And
I'm guilty of that. I've done that too.
Like I said, you can't dig wide. You
Right.
can't just go for every single opportunity. You got to focus on, you got to narrow in.
Yep.
And having that skill to read people and figure out who's in it for real and who's going to work with me well and who's just wasting my time here, that's important. And, you know, there are clips you can find on YouTube on probably how to figure this out for yourself. I'm sure there are, you know, little things you can pick up, but you know, you can learn that kind of knowledge from a YouTube video. But at the end of the day, I think, as me and Johnny here are talking about, is at the end of the day, if you got to have that practice, you got to put yourself in those really weird and awkward and difficult situations to figure out for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Practice is screwing up.
Oh yeah. You know, the same guy I mentioned earlier, Thomas, who, that older videographer friend of mine in Atlanta.
I would love to meet him someday.
We'll have him on the podcast. I'm going to call him up. I was
awesome.
just talking to him yesterday and today as well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, shout out Thomas. He said, you know, before he pursued wedding videography and filmmaking as a career and going into business for himself, he was a recruiter, like a corporate recruiter for like 10 years.
Interesting.
He was doing recruiting for companies, and having those, he always attributes having those, that experience allowed him to have what's called soft skills, the ability to communicate and read people and all this, just the art of communication. And he attributes that knowledge, that even though it has nothing to do with filmmaking, it has everything to do with business and communicating with people. And he attributes that to a big part of how he succeeded and got to where he is now with his business. So there's something to be said about any experience that you could have. There's always a positive way to look at things.
Yeah.
Like Johnny and we just told you about our previous gigs that we had. This is right, like I said, this is the same exact time we're talking about, same time frame. This is before COVID.
2019.
2019 into early 2020.
What a shit year that was.
That was a shit year.
19 and 20 were both terrible years to me.
We could go on and about that, but the idea is like, where was I going with that? I mean,
you got to learn from your past.
You got to look at everything as a learning opportunity. I think it's a very, you know, we talk about philosophy sometimes, and the Stoics said this, the Buddhists would tell you this, you know, you cannot change the past. You can learn from it. That's probably the best thing you could do is learn from it, but you can't change it. But why not learn from it and take away some valuable lessons? I think there's always something to be said about that. Even if today, even like still to this day, I will have interactions or moments where I'm not proud of whether something I said or how I handled myself, whatever it may be. I'm just like, maybe I shouldn't have done it like that. But you can't regret it. You can't regret those things. You have to look back objectively and be like, okay, what can I learn from this? And be appreciative of that, you know? That's what I got to say.
Definitely. Again, going back to never stay stagnant with what you're doing.
Totally.
You will stay stagnant if you don't learn from your past. If you don't learn from those crazy experiences. If you don't learn from, in my case, the days when I was selling energy to people in the hood.
You were literally
was literally doing that.
You were literally in the hood selling energy.
I did sell in nice areas too, but again, you really learn how to deal with people who are just on a different level.
I just think that's so crazy that companies like that will take some well-polished kid, uncorrupted in their early 20s, right out of college.
It's fucking crazy.
It's so positive about their future and just throws them into the wild, ready to be eaten by the lions.
Dude, I kid you not. Like, again, not to go back to this. This was like my first or second week on the job. And I'm like, okay, here's the wolves. Come tear the flesh from my bones. Like, like, but again, I'm sitting here now though, and I got to say, like, I do sort of look fondly back on those days in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, well, sure, thing you were going through, or the thing you were dealing with was shit. But I look fondly at that and I say, like, whether I didn't realize it at the time, but, that made me who I am.
Yeah.
Like another example, like, for example, like you and I were in relationships before, like we learned from those, dude, that we learned they weren't for us. They weren't helping us grow.
Totally.
That's just another example. The point I'm trying to make is that every negative experience you have, whether it's a relationship that you thought was a waste of time, a job that you thought wasn't going to get you anywhere, or, just another person you met, or just any experience you had that you thought was a total waste of time, like, nothing is a waste. It's only a waste if you don't learn from it and apply it to your own life, to what you're going through in the present.
It's only a waste if you say it's a waste. And
right.
And I can relate, just to echo off of your point, I can relate to that too, where that gig where I was with that guy, as much as I went on a tirade shitting on him, at the same time, I could easily say, look, there's sometimes I wish I could relive those moments with that guy.
Me too.
I mean, because it was, at the end of the day, it was fun. It was a bullshit gig, but it was fun. The guy was funny. He was entertaining me 5 days a week. Like,
dude, that guy was entertaining.
Yeah. He's buying me drinks. He's getting me food. He's like,
dude,
it was fun.
Dude,
was,
you got
to look at it that way, though, because if we don't have that fun, kind of that lighthearted, humorous way of looking back at things, you'd be miserable.
You'd be miserable. You'd be like, oh, that really sucked for what it was.
Totally.
No, you got to have fun with it.
Yeah.
Like, dude, to add to what you were just saying too, I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, what if I could go back to these people or these moments or these jobs or shit that didn't matter, knowing what I know now, and just troll the hell out of them. just be a total nuisance and be like, just have fun with it, And I guess looking back with all those experiences, I guess I did have fun with it in a sense. So I guess I can't say I have any regrets.
Yeah. No, hell
I really
no.
don't. To quote Lemmy, like, he said something along the lines of, like, I got no regrets.
Yeah.
And sure, we've all done stupid shit. And we've all done things we wish we never, going back to the whole thing, like, oh, you're saying, oh, I wish I did this. I wish I did it this way. I wish I made the film this way. I wish I made the song this way. Like, that's natural to feel that way. But, looking back, it's all how you look at it, man. It's perspective.
Right.
It's like, yeah, that happened, or that was stupid, or that sucked. But you know what, dude? I had fun for what it was, and I learned from it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way to go about life.
Yeah. I love that. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, a few to mention. My way.
I love Frank Sinatra, man.
Me too.
You got to listen to the Sex Pistols version of it with Sid Vicious.
Yeah, it's in Goodfellas.
Dude, he bastardized that.
Yeah.
But I think that's so funny. If you watch the video, he takes a gun and like shoots people in the audience. It's so like it's shocking. But he bastardizes a Frank Sinatra song.
Anyway,
here we go. Me going.
Well, I think us having those experiences, those stories, is important because now we can look at practice for what it is. It's just play, and like it doesn't have to be a chore. I think it sets us up for failures and those moments where we think like, oh, this could have been better. Like it sets us up for those and to be more objective and more positive about those times. Like for me, whether it's like, I created a video, I finished a project, and I'm like, oh, this could have been better. I'm not looking at it as, so it's not too personal. I'm not like looking at it negatively. I'm looking at it positively. Like, it could have been better, but on to the next one. And same with you with your records, and your songs that you put out. That you're like, oh, yeah, it could have been better. I could have played this solo differently, or this could have been mastered better or whatever. But hey, I'll guess the next one, you know?
I'm always my own worst critic, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We always are.
We always
you and I
are.
are very hard on
But that's
on
important.
ourselves.
That's
Yep.
important. But I think the people that don't have those, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong. But I think the people that don't have those experiences, it's kind of like those stories that like we had to just share. When they face adversity, like real adversity in their craft, they're really struck by it. And not to fault them for it. It's just, it's natural that when you are put into a situation that you're unfamiliar with, you know, you're not going to handle it. You're not used to it. So you're not going to handle it. You're not going to be able to maneuver or adapt as well as somebody who has gone through shit.
Yep.
And because they had gone through that, they had to learn.
Right.
You know? But those are invaluable. They're super important to have those moments. And again, I mean, the initial conversation I wanted to have was just the idea of practicing our craft, you know, whether it's I'm practicing taking out my camera and playing around and tweaking with settings, filming, and you're trying out different licks and chords. But it's interesting that we went into this route and we kind of just talked about our own experiences and kind of how we just learned from them. But
Right. That is practice. That was our practice.
It is practice at the end of the day. You can't argue that it's not practice in a way, because we did, like I said, we practiced communication skills, sales skills, what have you.
In our own skills, you know, with you with film, me with my music. Like, I think we all we touched on most of that, I think.
Yeah, because even, like I said, to go back to that story, but from that gig, I also learned how, like, I had been so burnt out, and I was never practicing because, I was just so burnt out by that. I was taking advantage of for my time, my labor. And I didn't love the craft anymore. I wasn't going out practicing. And therefore, I was not improving. Like, the content I was making from it was, like, okay for what it was, but it wasn't getting any better. And it's important to not, I think, let yourself burn out creatively, just in general.
Yeah.
Like, when you burn out, if you're like me, I think most people like this, if, like, you burn out, I don't even want to look at my camera or my guitar. I'm done. Like,
it
and
sucks.
You sit on the couch, you drink a beer, and it's not really a healthy way of going things, because not only do you lose touch and you lose sort of like your interest and love in your craft, but you lose open-mindedness and
Productivity.
Yeah.
You lose your soul in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, you lose that child in you that wants to get creative and take risks and shake foundations. You can't do that.
Envelope,
You can't do that when you're burnt out. And
you can't. Burnout's never good, like I said
Yeah.
on a previous episode.
Yeah, and you and I were burnt out when we did those things. You weren't making music. I wasn't making good films. At least we weren't consistently. So
That's how you know you got to make a change.
you gotta make a change. I think it's important for everybody to, whatever your creative skill is to, no matter how busy things get, always look. There may be times where you're on strict deadlines and you have to plow through and work overnight. And luckily I haven't had one of those lately to work technically overnight. But I've had cases lately where I've had to, like, I really had to plow through this, and I gotta just get through this. I gotta put other things aside. But all in all, overall, when you manage your time, you make time to have that sort of play element, like I was saying, for your craft, for what you're trying to do, for what your skill is. So that way you have a sort of freestyle session to just, no strings attached, nothing expected of you, just being truly interacted with what you're doing, having a true interaction with what you're doing, and really keeping it fresh, like a relationship. You keep it fresh.
Yep.
That's my weird analogy for you, but
Yeah.
you keep it fresh. Like
You always throw some spice in there. To
throw
keep
some
things
spice in there.
interesting.
It's like it's like in your keeping it fresh. You whisk your significant other away at cheap motels. That's what I'm talking about. You make it, you keep it interesting, and you're always looking to think like, what can I do here to make this better or more fun?
I was thinking about this today. I hate redundancy. I hate routine.
Yeah.
I can't do the same shit over and over and over again. Like, of course, you're going to have to do things like regular stuff, like your normal routine type of things. But
you have routine in your life.
Yeah,
but
in your life.
Not routine in your creative
element. Right. It's good to differentiate. But just in general, though, like, dude, I hate doing the same thing over and over again. Like,
yeah.
I just... Dude, I don't understand how some people go to work, go home, watch Netflix, and do the same thing over and over again. And then they just stay in on the weekends, too, a lot of people. Like, I've met people that... And look, if you do whatever you want, but, like, how the hell do people just fall victim to this cycle of go to work, go to bed, watch cheap entertainment, eat good food, do the same thing over and over again? That's called the comfort zone. I saw this meme, and you might have, not a meme, but this post on social media. You might have seen it on like some self-help accounts where it's like, give a man good food, cheap entertainment, and just constant stimulation, and his dreams will go down the tube. That's the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Dreams, a man or a woman, they go to the comfort zone to die. I hate routine. I never want to be kept in the confines of my comfort zone, because if I do that, I know I'm not going to grow, and I know I'm not going to be creative, and I'm not going to continue to push the envelope and keep things fresh.
Without a doubt.
You
Let's see. We should plan for an episode all about comfort zones.
Yes.
Because I think this is another big topic to unpack. There's a lot to unpack there, but we don't have time.
Right.
But that's so important. Just, I think keeping it fresh and keeping it interesting, being open-minded and open to change is vital for anything that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will fall in that comfort zone, like you said. So, and like I said, giving yourself the time, making the time to do that. That's an important thing to do. This, like, it's not like it's like, oh, it's nice that you have the time to just, whether it's you're sitting on the couch, you're playing your guitar. It's nice that you have the time for that. It's like, no, I make the time to do it because I'm trying to constantly improve myself and my craft. Because that's how I'm going to make it better work for people and for people to listen to, what have you.
Yep.
So,
totally, man.
Stuff.
Cool. I think we got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, this is a great chat. I think this is a very, very interesting. I hope you will find this useful, but also entertaining, because I think we had some fun with this.
We had some fun with this one. I think we sort of, broke out of our shells a little bit with this one.
We did, yeah. The alcohol helped.
Yeah, it's good. I gotta ask Jed what kind of beer that is.
Yeah, I'll ask him.
Again, shout out Votary Films. Shout out, Jed, everybody here for this excellent place.
Yeah, for this excellent setup. Shout out.
If I could build a place like this someday, I'd be so happy.
Let's make that a goal. The Amici warehouse.
The Amici warehouse. Can be done, man.
Can be done.
Can be done.
Think why not?
There's nothing you can't do.
Instead of thinking why, think why not.
Yep.
Trump said it himself. You're gonna think anyway. Might as well think big. It's a good quote, though.
Yeah, it's true.
It's nothing said about his policies, what have you. I'm just saying, it's a good quote.
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
It's good.
Yeah, so
it's true.
Well,
good stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode
of
the Amici podcast. Hope we entertained you.
Yep.
Like I said, I think we're coming out of our shells a little bit.
Yes,
now
we are definitely. I gotta kill this. Kill a beer next time. This is good beer.
Yeah.
I'll do a beer once in a while. I haven't been drinking a lot of beer lately.
Yeah,
but
that's good. I've been trying to limit my liquor intake as well, but
definitely. But thank you again, guys.
Hope you enjoy this. Let's get that Instagram page up.
Yeah, for real this time.
We'll put up cut downs, little podcast clips.
Yeah. Plugs for our own stuff.
Yeah. If you're listening to this on Spotify, don't forget we have a YouTube channel. So you should definitely go and subscribe to that, and you watch the video component there.
Please
Vice
do.
versa, if you're watching this on YouTube, we are on Spotify, so make sure you go check us out there and
So you can watch
subscribe
and
to
listen.
that channel. Yeah, follow us there, and you follow our pages. Mine is right now it's _ Mark Aiello _ I'm always changing my name. That's my more or less professional account, my filmmaking account.
Yep.
Do you have well, you could just plug Verona Rose, but
Yeah,
if there's another thing.
Verona Rose Band on the Instagram, and that's my own personal band, and my own personal account is Johnny Mags 77.
Yeah, ladies, slide him a DM. Do him a favor. Do him a favor.
Here I'm doing my own thing. I'm all set.
He's building his empire. Good man.
Building my empire, dude. I'm not looking to date anybody right now.
You're a powerful, attractive young man. You're a good American.
Send me a DM if you want to learn how to play guitar.
There you go.
I'll teach you.
Why aren't you teaching guitar?
Because I'm too fucking busy, dude. I have so much shit going on. That's why.
You need to teach
I do
guitar.
want to do that someday. That'd
should
be
do that.
that'd be really cool.
Do it. Do it now.
So
Anyway, before we get into a tirade of me shitting on Giancarlo,
and vice versa, us talking your ear off for like 2 hours.
Yes. Thanks again for listening to the podcast, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the next one. We're out.
We're out.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.
Peace.